like I said, I appreciate the people that have supported me in the bike community, and I'll explain why this is on my biker page and not a separate page that I'm doing, because it's truly the people that are in the bike community that have helped me out with some of these issues that we go through, and therefore I'm trying to pay it forward. So that's my goal, is to try to pay it forward. So we're gonna get into this thing, all right? My name is The Spoiler. I am a biker. I have a YouTube channel called Real Riders Ride. Please go subscribe, because we're gonna do more of the live events over there, so we can get paid, because Facebook don't like to pay you like that, right? Unless you got your star power and whatnot. I don't have star power, so it's that type of thing. Here tonight with me is Brother Red, Brother Batman, Brother Scorpion has got the board, he's got the chat line, so if you got a question, definitely hit me up on this thing, and he'll holler out the question, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, understand something, right? We are not medical professionals. We are dudes who are just going through some shit, and at the end of the day, we don't communicate and don't have the studies and don't have the information that the ladies have when they go through menopause. But before I get into that, I've got to get into some housekeeping things, couple announcements. This is part of a podcast that I do. I'm planning on doing it once a month, and you can see, if so, say that you didn't get it, you can get the video part of the podcast at Real Riders Ride, and then you just hit the link, the video link that says The Spoiler's Midlife Crisis, and then you can get it that way. If you can't do the video thing and you're at work or something other and you want to check it out, you can go to anchor.fm, and the podcast will be listed there, so you can do it just in audio form. You got a burning desire question to ask me, you can hit me up at thabigspoiler@gmail, thabigspoiler@gmail, and ask whatever you want. Like I said, we're not medical professionals. We're just guys just talking about these issues that we're going through and how it is. Now, you got to understand, this is a mature man's podcast. So if you don't like cussing, you don't like drinking, you don't like having fun, or you get butt hurt easily, get the fuck out of here. I ain't trying to do the trolls. I ain't trying to do that bullshit. This is mature man shit, right? Ladies, you're welcome to ask questions and get in there, because again, that affects you too. I get it. You know, that affects you too. So, but we're after having better men for our communities here and doing a service to them. So as it stands, you know, this is the Spoiler's Midlife Crisis. It's a mature man show, and we're talking about these issues that we don't normally talk about in our community. So, and you may say, well, what is that? I'm talking about the issues about low sex drive, how our divorce rates are high, this whole menopause thing, and that's a new phenomenon. They put that word on there, menopause. But unlike menopause, we don't have the studies or products necessarily to go along with helping us get over it or helping us through it, because you can't just take a pill and everything's all good. It don't work that way, and it don't work that way for each person, and some people never go through it at all. But because we don't have that kind of information, that kind of data, that kind of study, we're left to just fend for ourselves. And this is where I'm trying to close the gap with it, so we can all communicate, hey, I might be going through this, I might be going through that, and then I'm going to show you personally, I'm going to tell you my personal story about how the thing gets masked. So you be going through it, and you don't even know you're going through it. You just know you got some shit going on, and you don't really realize what's going on. And you know you're changing, but because you got all this bullshit going on that you have to deal with, right? It takes a back seat. And hopefully with the information today, we'll start to change some of that for you. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break down this thing about dealing with the change in men, because we've always heard about that with females. Oh, she's dealing with the change. She's going through the change, right? That's a real phenomenon in men. It takes on a couple different connotations because we don't have the communication source information-wise to understand what we're going through when we're going through it. It took me to talk to a number of people, my OGs, Cam, Nabi, Jelly, on different occasions to understand that I'm not the only one going through that shit, or has gone through that shit, or will be going through that shit. But because as men, we don't necessarily communicate like that, right? That's when the light bulb clicked for me. It's like, no, we need to start talking about this shit. Why? Because we got access. Okay? So I'm going to give you a definition of the Urban Dictionary of what they say menopause is. And so far, it's been the closest thing that as far as research I've done, that has been valid, right? So they talk about menopause being when a man's chemical balance becomes shifted, and I put or lost. See, I've talked to one of my bros who said that his doctor said that it's a chemical loss. He believes it's a chemical loss. Other people believe it's a chemical shift. That's how fucked up the data is on it. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what chemical you lose. They don't know if you shift or what. With female, they narrow it down, well, it's just that and the other. Now, they try to say, well, it's low T. Let me give you the fucking, bell ringer here. Everybody doesn't have low T. That's not, everybody doesn't have low T. Okay? So.
And what we mean when we say low T, a lot of people probably haven't heard the term, but it refers to your testosterone.
Okay.
As you get older, it naturally declines, but it doesn't decline in everyone at the same rate.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily decline to a level that causes all of these other symptoms. So now we're talking men in a demographic age of maybe 40s to your 60s. It could hit at any time in there. You don't know. Now that's something that's similar to the female. You don't know when it's going to hit. You don't know how raging your symptoms are going to be. And I'm going to give you a list of some of the symptoms that could possibly happen to you as a male, right? Now, some of these symptoms are something I experienced personally. Some of these symptoms are something that other folks have experienced. You have to take it for yourself as to where they are with it, or where you are with it. One of them was you get hot for no fucking reason. You just burning up hot. I used to go to work and I'm fucking just pouring sweat at 8 o'clock in the fucking morning for no fucking reason in the middle of winter. And I've always been like my old man would say, a cold-blooded person, Now all of a sudden the thing has shifted and I'm hot as a motherfucker early in the morning, burning up. And that night, you could be spread egg nude with the fucking ceiling fan going and everything else. I'm telling you, dude. It's some fucked up shit. It's some fucked up shit.
I gotta get a ceiling fan.
I'm not right. I'm sitting there fucking just, I'm dying.
Or you got to start experimenting with all these different deodorants and shit. Because you taking a shower every morning before you go to work.
Right.
But come noon, you thinking to yourself, something ain't right.
Right.
That chemical shift, what used to
See?
work,
Yeah.
don't work anymore.
It don't work no
and
more.
You got to start experimenting. And, you're going to have some people looking at you funny like, why is this cat smelling like shit? And that's not the case. You're
Right.
showering,
Right.
but the balance is shifting. The chemical properties of your body, is shifted, and it has a smell associated with it.
Right.
Depending on what you're eating.
Oh, exactly that. And your diet is a big key to this thing. So you so hot. Now, every now and then I get these night sweats to where I'm sweating like a motherfucker. I mean, I've got a whole pillow that's drenched in sweat. And so I go to the doctor regularly. And he's like, maybe your body's trying to fight off something, this, that, and the other. That's normally how they see night sweats and this, that, and the other. I wasn't trying to fight off nothing. I'm sweating I'm like, God damn it, I need some fucking Gatorade afterwards. Wake up in the morning and need Gatorade or something to hydrate you because you didn't sweat it so much, right? One of the biggest factors that I had early on was that I was tired all the time. And I attributed that to, just working and whatnot. I was just tired, just dead tired all the time, And I'm a person that juice in the morning. I juice every morning, to kind of get you that energy and this, that, and the other, But fuck, I was just tired as fuck, We talked about the low testosterone. The loss of sex drive is another symptom. Irritability is another symptom. When you got new mood swings and your depression and you're not, you're just not feeling up to being and doing this thing. Weight gain may be a part. Some people have weight loss. Some people have a loss of libido during that time. Other people experience like the strength loss. The uncontrollable emotions is another one. Anger, sadness, just crying uncontrollably out of nowhere, right? And one of the biggest ones for me was a lack of focus. I just couldn't focus on what the hell I was doing. And I'm a person that solves problems every day, all day. And it became very fucked up, And those are some of those issues that, you may encounter. What I always tell you, and what I'm trying to do now, is tell you to pay attention to your symptoms. You got some of those symptoms like that, pay attention to them, because your body's talking to you, right? And this is what I didn't realize. This is why I do this now, because I'm trying to help everybody else pay attention to your symptoms. Right? You're just not going to just be tired out of the blue all of a sudden, right? But I'm going to personally show you how it gets masked, how those symptoms will get masked into your personal life, and you think it's really your personal life that's driving the physical issues, but it's not. It's the other way around, okay? So I'm going to start this timeline, right? And really, this timeline started about 2013, 2014, where I couldn't sleep. I was having trouble sleeping and was always tired, cranky. Depression has always been a thing with me, but not to the point to where you're going to jump off the fucking ledge. It's just that you have blue days. That's been normal. But the other issues kind of crept up 2013, 2014 in there, right? But I was working like a fucking slave. I probably made more money than I ever made in my career, but I attributed all of that to how I was working. Well, when you're working hard, yeah, you're going to be tired. So you think that's normal. Right? No problem. You think that shit is normal. And you keep it moving. That's what men do. We keep that shit moving. Right? Not a problem. Not a problem. you start to get into 15, and now it's like, I don't feel like fucking. I don't, I'm not, your drive is not there like that. Why? Because again, you're working. Now, though, because I'm tired, I can't sleep, I'm medicated. And you self-medicate, right?
Yes.
And you start to drink. Once you start to path down to drinking, that starts to mask all the other symptoms. That helps mask the other symptoms along with everything that's going on in your personal life. It starts to mask these symptoms. In 16, now I'm 50. I turned 50. Hey, the big milestone. 50 years old, I got these fucking family problems that's out of control, but that's okay, right? And I'm still drinking. And now I got work issues. And now the night sweat kicks in. And like I said, when I was sweating, I was sweating. It wasn't I just had a little sweat and this, that, and the other. No, it's like a fucking battle. Like, it's unbelievable. You wake up and now you're hot as fuck. And like I said, I'm in the room with the fucking ceiling fan going. And I'm butt ass naked and I'm sweating. And then you get cold. And then you're sweating. And then you get cold. You definitely not getting no rest now. So that goes into 17. Now I'm 51. And the first part of March, I get sick for 2 weeks. I'm so sick, I'm on my ass. One of my club brothers had to bring me some fucking Gatorade just so I can hydrate. Because now I'm not coughing. I don't have the runny nose. It's not a flu. I'm just on my ass, can't get up out of the bed, sweating all the fucking time, knocked the fuck out like it's some kind of virus. And for a lot of people, when they get sick and they're older like that, that's when the total shift starts to happen. For me, that was the doorway of when all the other symptoms rushed right in the fucking door. And it was on and cracking from there. I was off to the races, right? So you're talking 17. Now there's a loss of strength because now I think I had this virus and my doctor, again, I'm going to the doctor. And people may say, well, that's your doctor's fault. No, just save that one. Hold on. So now I'm going to the doctor and I got all these symptoms. I'm hot. I can't sleep. Irritability. There's depression. There's the loss of strength because the doctor's like, when you have a virus, it takes a while for you to get to your regular self so that virus gets out of your system. It takes a time. Okay, so we're thinking now it's a virus. And that's how we're kind of looking at it. And that's how we are in 17. I get to 18, and now the first half of 18, I'm feeling the crash coming on. Yeah, I got family issues, work issues, financial issues, still drinking, and this, that, and the other. The doctor's like, hey, why don't you try this antidepressant? And so that, we can see kind of where you are with this thing. Because now I'm taking yearly physicals, and except for my blood pressure, all of my shit is normal. So now it's like, okay, now what are we doing? Even the testosterone thing is normal. What are we doing? Okay? He said, let's try this. I tried that shit, and that shit made me so fucking nauseous. I was like, nah, dude, I can't do this one. I can't do this one. I was like, nah, that's it. So again, what do I turn to? Again, I turn to self-medication. I try to clean up my diet and shit. Try to exercise. I got on the treadmill one day, I was so fucking hot. I wasn't running. I was walking on the treadmill. I was so fucking hot I had to come off that bitch. It made me so fucking hot. I just got off of it and just went to bed. Fuck it. You know,
Right.
I fuck it. I'll go lay down somewhere. You know, and that's how that shit goes. That's where you really realize that there's something going on here. I didn't even know who the fuck I was no more. You know, I start talking. That's where I start reaching out to people. You know, I call one of. I would go to work. I go in the door and be like, "Can I take off?" They'd be like, "Yes," and walk right back out the fucking door. I just couldn't hang. I knew I wasn't no good.
Like, you know, right? In the job capacity that you're in, you figure this is not the place I should be right now with this mindset.
No, I just couldn't hang. You know, and there was some fucking rough days. You know, I was shit. I had days where I was just fucking crying like a motherfucking bitch.
Yeah.
I had to call my man. It was like, "Hey, this ever happened to you?" He was like, "Doctor, you ain't crazy." I thought I was going crazy. He's like, "You're not crazy." He said, "That shit happened to me, and my doctor said that he believes it's a chemical loss in men." I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? One of those days I had walked in and walked out, I called my other OG. It's like, "Look, man, you know, what's happening? You know, it's early in the fucking morning." He thinking I'm talking about some biker shit.
Right.
Then he caught it. He was like, "Oh, wait a minute, you talking about some man shit here." You know? He was like, "Nah, man, you need to get out the clubhouse and go do what the fuck you want to do, and you know, you going through some real shit, but you're not crazy. You know what the fuck you're doing, you just gotta put it together." Right? Talked to my old G, and he's like, "No, we all go through them fucking sweats and shit, and everybody else." You know,
And you're right.
And they all confirm you're not fucking going crazy. You're going through this change that, again, we don't know how to attack it because we don't talk about it. So the second half of 18, I'm really about to crash. And so the doctor's like, "Let's try a different medication and let's see how it goes. I can give you something to go to sleep." I said, "I'm not trying to worry about that. I just need," he's like, "just cut the edge off. I just want to cut the edge off, and then let's see how you feel." I said, "Okay, cool." In that, I realized what I was doing, I was fighting myself. See, I was fighting to be the dude who I was.
There you go.
I'm not that dude no more. So I'm trying to fight the whole thing of who I was versus moving forward with who I am right now and who I'm becoming right now. And that's one of the bigger lessons in it, that is to saying, you know, what I'm saying is this. The problem with it is that, yes, you're going to have the symptoms. Someday they're going to subside, but you've got no control over when they're going to subside. But that's the metamorphosis of, you're not that dude no more. And your old lady ain't fucking crazy. She knows you ain't that dude no more. So stop trying to play like you're that dude again. Don't get butthurt. Because I had to go through it myself. And I'm still going through it. I still get the symptoms. I still get the fucking night sweats. I still fucking show up at work and I'm hot as fuck and I got to turn on the air conditioner. It's fucking below zero outside. That kind of shit. That's real shit. You're not fucking crazy. But understand, you're not that dude no more. And once you realize that, that's when you will start to take your turn. I encourage all the men out there to go get that physical, start that process if you need to. You know, if you feel the shit is coming on, trust me, that shit will cause divorces. That shit will cause all kinds of fucked up shit.
No audio on YouTube.
Okay, I'll fix that.
All right.
So that's the whole thing. And you're not by yourself. You're not fucking crazy. I'm gonna let you jump your story in there.
So, with me, I've always been a very, how would I say, athletic or physically outgoing type person. When it hit me, I always tell people, I suddenly started realizing I couldn't do what I was doing to the degree that I was accustomed to doing it. And, for a person with my mentality and my mindset, that was something that was jolting to me. I've always been that guy. You know what? Yeah, I can do that, and I can work all day and not get tired, and then go home at the end of the day and do my own thing, and I'm good. I can survive on 5 hours of sleep a night. No. If I try to get away with 5 hours of sleep and go to work and perform at the degree to which I'm expected to perform at work, you can forget it. I'm going to be a basket case. And, so I had maybe 4 months of that to where my body was breaking down because I wasn't accepting the fact that, hey, I'm 50 plus years old and things are changing. And that change started coming about at about 45. But at 46, I could mask it, and work out a little more, take some amino acids, some recovery pills, and be like, physically, the muscles and everything, they're still performing. But in time, it takes its toll, and it builds up to where things start going bad. I ended up having some joint issues, where my knee went out. At the same time, I ended up with herniated discs in my back, had to get a neck surgery, a neck fusion, because, like I said, I wasn't accepting the fact that, hey, I'm older, I'm not healing as fast as I'm accustomed to healing, and I'm not one to sit in bed and be like, hey, I'm sick. I can't go to work. I can't do this. I can't do that. I refuse to accept that. And so that was a tough haul for me. So, you get a little more aggressive in your mannerisms. Your woman say something to you, you snap at her. Your kids say something to you, you kind of brush them off, or you snap at them and they start, boom. Then the other thing that hit me was, once I realized it, I started accepting it, as he said, that chemical imbalance. I started getting more emotional about stupid shit that I normally don't get emotional about. My daughter had to bring it to my attention. She was like, Dad, are you okay? And I'm like, what do you mean? She said, something happening to you? Are you real sick or something? And so I'm looking at her like, what is she seeing? And I said, baby, tell me exactly what you're talking about. She goes, well, lately you've been giving me these Malcolm X, Martin Luther King speeches about life and all of this. And I was like, huh? Knowing that's not me, I was happy that she noticed it and she was, responding to it. But at the end of the day, it was that wake-up call. So I was blessed to have those family members that were vocal enough to bring it to my attention. Now, most guys would reject that and be like, nah, I'm fine. It ain't me, it's y'all. Me, luckily, when my kids start talking to me about things like that, which is uncommon for them, and when my old lady, starts looking at me saying this, luckily I have one of those old ladies, verbally, she'll go toe-to-toe with me. That's perfect because that's what I needed at that time. Most guys won't respond to that. They're going to be in that state of denial. But when my old lady goes toe-to-toe, she keeps it real. Me, I jump off and go jump on the motorcycle and ride for about an hour, 2 hours, and process everything that took place at home, to where the point is, by the time I get home, now I done processed it, I done put it in perspective, and I'm saying, okay, this is what may be going on. Without a clinical diagnosis, without a doctor, I'm thinking, this is what may be going on. This is what I need to do to fix it. And then you go home, and the next day you're trying to fix it. It ain't fixed. It ain't fixed. It took a while before I realized it all boiled down to making a lifestyle adjustment. Had to make an adjustment in a lifestyle. couldn't go out and party all the time. So I was managing a bar at one point in time, and I realized I can't leave my day job, go to the bar, manage the bar, and then pay attention to the family and do my recreational activities on the weekend and still function as a whole person. So of course, love the money of the bar, but the bar had to go because I realized, I said, you know what? This bar might be the worst thing for me right now. And so once I let that bar go and I could go straight home from work, get that rest, communicate with family a little better, then my weekend with my bike thing was my decompression time. That was my way of just getting off to myself, riding with my bros, doing what I'm doing, and that I always tell people that's gonna always have its situations when it comes to family. The wife, the girlfriend, the lady, whatever you're gonna refer to her as, if she's not a biker and she's not a biker chick, you're gonna always have that conflict. So that for me was normal. She luckily was willing to allow me that space to get that lifestyle that I'm accustomed to in with the motorcycles, because she knew that refreshed my energy, as a person, my mental energy. And so all of that combined, if you're not trying to put things in perspective and accept the realities of your physical conditioning and your mental conditioning, you're going to be fucked up for a long time. And you're going to lose some relationships. Your kids going to run away from you. Your friends are going to be like, and my friends, with the ebb and flow, some of them are here, some of them are there, some of them are more constant than others, but that's a natural ebb and flow. But when your friends start not being your friends anymore, there's a reason for that. And it may boil down to your attitude and the way you're processing things and throwing it back at them. And so once you start looking at that, and making those adjustments internally, you start coming out of that being a better person. I didn't go through the depression stage, but what I did do was go through a serious bout of confusion where I was like, man, why is this? Why is that? And luckily I had a great doctor that was just simply, Dr. Tobin. He was just like, look, man, you can't do that no more. You 48, you 50, so every year he's like, you just can't do it. He like my T count, he's like, your T count is low, but it's not so low where it's alarming. But the reality is, with what you're trying to do, it's too low for that. And so I was like, oh. So I'm like, so then what should I do? He said, well, you could try some supplements and try this and that. He said, but the reality is you just buying yourself time. Start making adjustments to your lifestyle according to your physical conditioning and ability. And, as an athlete, that's a tough pill to swallow. But the reality is, at 52, I'm not an athlete anymore. I need to accept that. I'm not an athlete anymore. As an athletic-minded person, that's what I accept now. I'm an athletic-minded person, but I'm not quote-unquote an athlete. Yeah, I can go and work out and keep myself in shape, but I'm not sprinting up and down a track. I'm not playing touch football, which was really tackle football. All those things I was doing when I was 35, trying to stay connected to 25. I realized at 45, nah, couldn't do it. And at 52, all I can do is think about doing it and watch somebody else do it. So that in itself, my recreation boils down to I ride bikes, I hang out with my bros, I love traveling, and when I spend time with my lady, I make sure that time is valued. I enjoy watching my kids do the stuff I want to do. That's my enjoyment now. I'm like, hey, I can watch my kids or your kids or someone else's kids, but I already know I can't do it. It's not going to happen.
Well, if you're on YouTube, we got some audio problems, so definitely hit me up on Facebook until we figure that out, and we'll do that. The thing about it is that if you're a person that is in this phase of your life, right? Don't overtrain. don't get into this thing that you're trying to get back into the shape like you were 16 and all of that shit.
Trying to get back to
You
youth.
don't overtrain. There's a guy on the next episode. I'm gonna give you this guy's YouTube channel, right? And he talks about his journey. He's always been a fitness guy, and into health and all this other stuff, and how his thing shifted to where he's like, wait a minute, I can't bodybuild like I used to, right? And so now his thing is don't overtrain your body. Don't try to do that shit that you were doing when you were doing it, as an athlete or this, that, and the other, because that was one of my complaints. I don't have my strength level the way I used to. I used to get on the fucking weights and just hammer that shit out. And now it's just like this, that, and the other. Now I'm in and out fucking gym like that.
Right. This is why we getting these torn rotator cuffs.
Right.
I laughed because I built my arms and my chest and my shoulders up to where I was feeling like, so I go in the weight room and I'm like, here I am. You got a 48, 49-year-old man talking about I'm going to increase my max.
Right.
So I'm in the weight room and I'm lifting and all of a sudden my shoulder starts hurting. Mm-hmm. So I go to the doctor and he goes, man, you got a split tear in your rotator cuff. And I was like, really? He was like, can you lift your arms up over your head like this? And I was like, nah, man, that's hard. He was like, yeah, you got to back up. What are you doing? I said, well, I've been working out and doing this. He was like, what kind of workout you doing? How much weight you lifting? And when I told him, he was like, why would you be doing that? What are you training for?
He really wanted to say, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, what the hell are you doing, man? He like, you're not. I remember he laughed. He was like, you ain't 20.
Right. Right.
You're not 20. And I'm like thinking to myself, but I can lift this shit. I'm benching 250. I can do it. And he was like, what 50-year-old man need to bench 250 pounds for what? Are you working construction? No. I'm like, he was like, well, so explain. And so I thought about it and I realized, like, yeah, he can repair the rotator cuff. But he was like, I can go in and fix it and this and that. He said, but if you're going to keep doing this, you're just going to mess it up again. And it's going to get to the point where I can't repair it. Mm-hmm. And you're just going to be a guy walking around injured for the rest of your life. And I started realizing, I said, so I got to go from being an endurance type person where I'm building it up and getting it to whereas I can go for a long period of time to being a maintenance person.
Right.
Just doing physical maintenance on my body. And so that's the mindset I'm at now. I want to do the physical maintenance. I don't need to get big. I don't need to get smaller. I'm not trying to lose weight. But what I do is I keep everything moving and keep everything active. Just, and stretch a little more. I can't stress it enough. I tell guys, man, look, if you in the weight room trying to look like you, the Incredible Hulk, and taking all these supplements, trying to build the muscles up, more power to you. But that's not going to last forever.
No, it never does. Look at the pro bodybuilders. It never does. And right now, and I'll give you a secret. Stretching every morning is probably one of the best things you can do, because I watch my mother-in-law and my mother lose their flexibility. As we get older, we lose our flexibility, whether it's because some of the medication we're on or this, that, and the other, or whether it's because of inactivity. But once you lose your flexibility, that's where all the other debilitating things come to play. And it's an important thing. What you got for me, doctor?
Pretty much same thing with you guys. Hey, remember me going in there 4 years ago? Shit.
Right.
I'm the one with the heart problem, so I'm not young anymore either. My age increased after 2 surgeries, so I know my limits. And every man should know his limitations. Like you said, you're 50 years old. What are you in the weight room for trying to bench 224, 225? You must be impressing that 21-year-old you fucking around with. So other than that, I'm like these cats. I don't do half the shit I used to do anymore. And guess what? I'm only 48 years old. But it don't look it. So I kick back. I take my vitamins. I take my pills. I do my daily walks here and there. And I do the best I can to take care of myself, All that extra stuff, I don't need. I don't need to do it, I know what I need to do for me.
And I know that's some funny shit to some of you young guys, because his ass just said, I'm only 48 years old.
Yeah.
I'm only 48.
When I was 30, if you said I'm only 48, I was looking at you like, your ass old as shit.
No,
What are you talking about?
Look at them young, but see, them young guys don't have specialists in cardiology. I have a special cardiologist.
Right.
So, it's just, you do what you can and how you can. Don't go out there, I know you young guys aren't going to listen anyway, so, you're going to go out there and you're going to push your limits and shit until you hurt something.
Yeah.
Well, and two, one of my things is you always have to deal with this sex drive thing, right? Especially when you get older, right?
Yes.
Because now you always still try to prove that you are the man.
I'm still the man.
I'm still the man.
Who the man, Red?
I'm the man, goddamn.
You still gotta prove that you are the man.
Yeah.
And that takes on a different connotations. Unlike some of the deviants we know.
Yes.
We're not
deviant.
Right.
I'm not a deviant, but I'm a goddamn man over here.
But that's going to be a topic for. I'm going to do a whole show on that.
On deviancy.
No, on what works and what doesn't. How about that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I laugh because I tell people, I didn't start taking vitamins and different types of things like fish oil and stuff like that, man, until I'm 52. So I guess I had to be about 45, 46 before I even had touched something like that, And I didn't know the benefits of it until after I had started taking them and taking them more on a regular basis, as opposed to just taking them for a short period of time to get over ailments and whatnot, to just taking it as a routine. Like fish oil, man, I swear by it. When I first started taking fish oil, it was because I was having some inflammation in my knees and and my ankles and my leg was so numb at one time I thought I had gout. But I started taking this fish oil, this real high grade fish oil, and I was taking high doses of it, and it was doing a better job for me than anti-inflammatories such as Aleve. In fact, the Aleve and that Nupraxin and all that in there kind of fucked my stomach up.
Yeah, it'll do
But
that.
the fish oil, on the other hand, I stopped taking the Aleve and kept taking the high grade fish oil. I was taking a lot of it to the point where I've been wearing eyeglasses for almost 25, 30 years. And I went to an eye exam after about 8 to 9 months. And the doctor looked at me and he finished the eye exam. He said, okay, I'll see you later. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go and pick out some frames, and, do whatever I got to do. He was like, nah, you don't need glasses. You're good. And I was like, what? He's like, you don't need glasses. You're good. I said, man, I've been wearing glasses for 25, 30 years. What do you mean? He said, what have you been doing? And I said, well, I've been taking this fish oil. He said, oh, yeah. It improves your circulation. It actually helped correct my eyesight. I didn't realize my circulation had a lot to do with my vision until he kind of enlightened me on that. And so as I started looking around, doing more research, I realized, oh man. So I take not high doses because I don't have the inflammation anymore, but I take low doses of fish oil every morning religiously. I take at least 2,000 milligrams of fish oil, high grade fish oil, every morning when I get up. I don't have muscle cramps. I don't get as, how would I say, stiff as I used to. Now I still have to do some working out. I stay active, but that fish oil, I swear by it, for me at least, it's worked. If you're having some problems with that and you're taking high doses of pain reliever or anti-inflammatories, try the fish oil. Have your doctor hook you onto it. Tell them what grades, and they have different grades and different, EPA and DHA levels in fish oil that do different things for you. And I just got lucky and talked to the right people.
Is it heart
turned me
healthy?
on to the right stuff.
It's heart healthy.
It's heart healthy,
There you
very,
go.
very heart healthy. You know, that's why I say I'm still the man.
Yeah.
You know, that
Who's the
fish oil-
man? Who's the man?
goddamn.
Who's the man? Who's the man? Goddamn red.
You know, but you know, like I say, but that comes with vitamins and healthy things. You know, my diet is my everything now. You know, I've eliminated things, I've added things to the point where it's working for me.
Yes, you vegan.
Now, remember what I'm saying. This whole menopause thing is not menopause like females. This thing is a chemical shift and or a chemical loss, depending on whose philosophy that you're using with this thing. And I want all my dudes out there to go see your doctor, get that regular physical, right? Because now if you're in that demographics of where you're over that 50 and over, right? Okay, you need to bend over and get that prostate check.
Get it done. Love
Huh?
Got a question from Carl. She stated, how did diet contribute to some of your issues? Basically, like
How we
How the diet,
your diet.
Here's how your personal diet goes. It's now, usually as you get older, your weight increases. Once your weight increases, it increases the anxiety and some of the moods that you're in. Some people eat just to get that satisfying feeling because you got all this frustration from everything else, which causes all the other problems. So that's how some of your diet. So now, when you're talking about your diet, when you get into your diet and you really dig into it, we like a lot of shit that we really shouldn't eat because it's really not food, right? And I'm not here to judge you because I got some of the most fucked up shit going on, right? So don't get it twisted, right? But overall, there's not a lot that a human diet really needs to be lean, mean, and self-sustaining, right? And because we like all this other shit, you know, that's how your diet really plays into it. Your diet plays into your mood.
Right.
And now I can point out a couple different books on the next podcast that I totally agree with and I follow, but I'm still gonna get me some pizza. I'm still gonna fucking drink me some fucking Jack.
That's right.
Right?
there you go.
So like I said, I get it. You're trying to balance the thing out. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to balance it out.
But you can't make food a security blanket either.
No, it's not the comfort blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's not
And one thing too I wanted to talk about is people say, you know, so one of the things my doctor was like, you know, you really need therapy. Yeah, motherfucker, I need therapy. I know I need therapy. You ain't telling me shit I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not always an easy task, especially if you want that therapist to be able to identify with you, right? As far as look, this mind here is fucking, there's some shit in here that you really don't want to know.
Right.
So I need to know my therapist needs a therapist and he has a therapist and that therapist and this, I need to chain the motherfuckers. Because I will fuck you up with what I got in my mind.
The darkness. Oh, the darkness.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's just the things that I've been through. So at the end of the day, you know, I don't need you to shape me. I know who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
Especially at this age in life. But if you want to hear some shit, I got something for you.
You're going to use up your hour
Hey,
early.
hey. You want to hear it? Here you go.
With my diet, I started flirting with some plant-based changes to my diet. You know, I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. You know, something that I never imagined having a problem with. Now my family has a history of diabetes, like most African American families.
You got to watch your family traits.
Yeah.
Mine is high blood pressure.
Right.
Right here, same thing.
I was also flirting around with high cholesterol, and so things like that,
You need to drink more Jack Daniels.
Yeah, see, so things like that, made me make some adjustments to my diet. At first I went off of that BMI, that body mass index bullcrap, which is a bunch of
That's
BS.
bullshit.
Yeah, which is a bunch of BS.
Right. Hey, in the military, they do this taping thing. That's bullshit.
Yeah, especially when it comes to somebody, our different body shapes.
Right.
It don't matter ethnicity or whatever. The reality is people are different. That BMI, I don't even think they say it's the average person. Man, that's impossible. The BMI says I should weigh about 170 pounds. I weigh 225. When I got down to 190, everyone walked up to me and asked me what was going on. They thought I was dying.
They thought you was smoking crack.
Yeah.
That's what they thought.
Yeah, so
It's the same thing.
Right.
So, yeah,
It's basically the same thing.
right.
You smoking crack?
So, yes.
Right. They just didn't want to say, "Hey, man, you smoke crack? That nigga gonna die."
So luckily, I had one of those. Luckily, like I say, my personal physician, I'm blessed because he's a very down to earth brother. He works out as Surgeon Healthcare up in Freighter. Dr. Tobin. He was just blunt with me. He was like, "Look, man."
Dr. Tobin owe us some money now.
You must
Dr.
have
Tobin.
Right.
Yeah, I've been giving him some. I've been giving him some
You give him
plugs.
some
You plugging the hell out of
Just so y'all know,
Right.
just so y'all know, his name is Benjamin Tobin.
Right.
But the reality is,
Right.
I bet he got more patients than he can handle. He may not have no room for you.
Right.
Maybe if one of us die, which I hope never happens.
Right.
but
He'll fit you in some way or
Right.
another.
but the brother,
I'm going to collect my check.
yeah, the brother is good, but he was down to earth with me. He ain't one of those ones doing all this clinical stuff, talking to me like I got to get a dictionary and interpret what he's saying. He just sat down. He's like, "Look, man," he said, "there's certain things you're eating and certain things you're doing. I'm not going to tell you can't have it, but I'm going to tell you need to cut back. You need to stop doing this and stop doing that. You need to add this to your diet, add that to your diet." I was the leafy green vegetable antichrist. I wasn't putting no vegetables in my diet. And he was like, "Why not?" He's like, "Plant protein is good." And so I started paying attention, and I actually started cutting out things. Like I cut out red meat because it was slow to digest. Because I'm looking at things that was increasing my cholesterol. So I cut out the red meat. Then I cut out the pork. Then I was just doing chicken, fish, and vegetables. And I noticed, I don't know about y'all, but I've always had a problem with gas, with flatulence. And come to find out, I don't necessarily, and no one really does, I don't necessarily digest cow's milk that well. And so I switched and went to the soy milk. Then I found out the soy milk increased estrogen levels, which of course, a man don't need.
Yes, you don't need that.
So I backed up off the soy milk.
You didn't want no tenders.
I just couldn't do it. And so then I backed up off the soy milk and went to the cashew milk. And the reality is, I really couldn't tell the difference between the two. And so I was like, okay, I'm good. And I even backed up off the chicken and the turkey. And the only meat that I eat is fish. I'll eat seafood, but I don't eat anything outside of that other than a lot of fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. I even went and started doing the all natural stuff, which can get expensive, but I started over time. It wasn't immediate. After about, say, a year of doing it, I started noticing the differences. At first, I lost a lot of weight, but then once that weight started coming back and I was doing more leafy green vegetables and kind of maintaining my diet the right way, I feel a lot healthier. Now, one thing I do have, I have sleep apnea, and I have to sleep with a CPAP machine. But part of that has a lot to do with my weight. And the doctor is telling me, yeah, you're probably going to sleep with it. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm like, you know what? I don't recall having to have a CPAP and having all this apnea and all this stuff when I was younger and physically,
Active.
real active.
Yeah.
I think I can reverse that too because I'm no longer pre-diabetic. You know, the numbers are fine, and the cholesterol has been fine, and things of that nature to the point where I'm regular with my checkups. You know, I look on that my chart they give you, and I would have never thought about me doing that, man. I look on my chart and look at my test results, like, oh, okay. And then I look at the historical data on my test results, and like, okay, I need to bring this down, and I'll do my own little research. Things that I don't understand, I'll ask those questions. You know, my doctor, he's like, man, you know, you're really into it. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I'm not trying to live forever. I'm just trying to change the quality of my life. You know, I want to continue to be able to have fun with a minimal amount of pain and deficits in my conditioning. And so that's my goal. You know, I know I'm going to die. I'm just not trying to die before you.
Exactly.
Well, and part of it is the biggest thing is the awareness of it. And what I always tell people is just pay attention to your symptoms, especially men out there. Pay attention to your symptoms. We're trying to get you to be aware before you crash, or before you have this detrimental effect on your relationship with your families. You know, pay attention to your symptoms. Go to the doctor. Get that physical. See where you are. See where your numbers are. And then you can make that adjustment. His way of doing the diet ain't my way of doing the diet. Ain't his way of doing the diet. But if it's working for you, that's what you fuck with.
Exactly.
And yeah, you got to try some things. You got to find out what works for you, what doesn't. You know, that's just the part of it. You know, as you get older and things shift or you lose those chemicals, you got to find out what works for you. And then once you hit that sweet spot, bam, you hit it like a running back, running through the hole.
Yeah. But I tell everybody, you can't do this if you got a partner and your partner not doing it with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, compromise.
You know, I tell everybody, look, man, I remember my woman came to me one day. You know, I was trying to do the vegan thing, man. And my woman came to me. She was like, look here. You signed up for this shit. I didn't.
Louisiana motherfuckers trying to be vegan.
You know, I got one of the Louisiana women, man. And she was like, I'm not finna get this up, and I'm not finna get that up. You on your own there. And I was like, but, and you know, she makes the meals. And so I was like, you know, some things I had to make those adjustments because, you know, that can cause static with some people. You know, they can be like, what do you mean? You're not supporting me? It's not that she's not supporting me. It says that she's saying, you know, when you sign up for this kind of stuff, you need to take the other individuals in your family in consideration. Like my son, he loves hamburgers. I'm not going to make him stop eating hamburgers. I'm not going to eat them. You know, he loves pepperoni pizza. We order a pizza.
That's my dude.
Yeah, that is my
You know
dude.
what I'm
I'm fucking with him.
That's right.
We order a pizza. Hey, we order a pizza from Pizza Hut.
Uh-huh.
I tell them half of it put pepperonis. The other half, make it a veggie.
Right.
And me and him, we good right there. You know, because he don't care. He gonna eat the pepperoni and he'll eat my veggie.
Right.
He just know I'm not finna touch his pepperoni.
Right.
And you know, but
More for him. More for him.
things like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, I just got more of a variety.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, so it's things like that. You know, but as I get this health thing in check and keep it in check, you know, noticing I'm starting to enjoy things a lot more. I don't do any cardio.
Gotta do the cardio.
I tell everybody I don't do any cardio, mainly because I don't have time, and my job requires me to do a lot of walking.
You do.
A lot,
So
but it's
you're
not.
doing cardio.
You're
For
doing
me, it becomes more routine, and so it's not much of a workout because it's just routine. I need that kind of cardio where, you know, it has fluctuations. My job, you know,
Well, see, you're doing a cardio in your pimp shoes.
yeah,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you know
so
what I'm
it doesn't
saying?
seem like you're doing cardio.
Yeah,
it
it don't-
seems
you
like
know,
you're just
Yeah, I'm doing the George Jefferson quick walk.
You can't do cardio in Stacey Adams.
Yeah.
Alligator shoes. You can't do that.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm doing the George Jefferson quick walk. You know, I when I got to get there, I ain't sprinting, but I'm moving as quick as I can. You know how George would shuffle and go. You know, I'm doing that. And, you know, it's not as physically as demanding as it would be if I, you know, were one of those guys, saying, I'm in great health. Because when I was in great health, I was always on the run. But then I realized, I said, I can't do what I used to do the way I used to do it. And so I can still do the job. I just changed the manner in which I do it. It's not changing the commitment. You're just making adjustments based on your physical ability and your physical need.
Right. Now, I'm going to shut this down. And I'm going to shut this down with a quote from a person that I think is a great man, right? That has taken care of people in his lifetime and have done a lot of good. Not that he was perfect, but it is what it is.
It's not me, huh?
Huh?
It's not me, huh?
No.
Okay.
No.
So,
Right. So this quote comes from a post from February 11, 2019. And he says, when you realize you're not the man that you used to be, and that man is gone forever, you have no choice but to embrace the man that you are becoming. My thing to you is to stop fighting yourself. We're here to help you through that journey because we don't have that kind of conversation going in our community. I started that journey here with the biker community, and that's why this thing is posted here. And at the end of the day, that quote comes from me. I think I'm the greatest human being on the world. And all you fuckboys can go away.
And basically what he said is, in the biker community, if you 40 and over and you still on a crotch rocket, you need to sit down and have a talk with yourself.
To talk about
You still ride that crotch rocket every day, and you over 40, and you on that crotch rocket, man, you better sit down and have a talk. Because guess what? I've been on a crotch rocket as a young man. It's a different kind of fall on a crotch rocket as opposed to a cruiser. Trust me, it's a different type. Man, it's a totally different dynamic when you fall. You still on a crotch rocket, and you over 40. It's time to have a talk. Call me. I'll talk to you. I'll tell you about it.
damn,
It's dynamic when you don't fall.
Yeah, that's a different dynamic when you don't fall. But everybody that's a biker knows. I have never met a biker that has not failed. And if you are a biker that has never fallen off that bike, chances are you ain't been a biker that long.
People can debate that one. they can debate
you
that.
probably get some backlash.
Yeah, I might catch some backlash on that. I'm just saying.
Every podcast has to catch.
Yeah, y'all gonna come at me. I know some of y'all gonna see me at a set night or something and be like, "Red, that's bullshit. I ain't never fell off my bike." And I'm gonna be like, "Bullshit. Your ass fell off.
Bullshit.
You fell. You just didn't tell nobody." I got a couple falls in there that don't nobody know about. So I say, man, I only fell off my bike 3 times in my life.
Right.
I know that's bullshit. I got a couple in there that
They may say
no
he
witnesses.
was playing on a different playground.
Yeah. I got some in there that just wasn't no witnesses, so it just never happened.
Right. Well, and like I said, I shut that down, right there. And again, you can hit me up at thabigspoiler@gmail.com. You can listen to the podcast audio on Anchor.fm. It's an app. You can download it. The Spoilers Midlife Crisis. We're going to do this thing once a month, starting off. If it grows legs, it grows legs. I'm not tripping on it. But if not, we'll do it once a month. And we're trying to help everybody in our community get right, be better men, be better husbands, be better side dudes, or whatever.
that part.
Disclaimer.
Hey,
Disclaimer.
everybody got the disclaimer. I'm not saying.
Disclaimer.
I'm just saying. This is we're here for the people.
I'm here for the people.
We're here for the people.
I'm here for the people.
Right. We're here for the people.
Queen,
All right.
disclaimer.
Right. We're here for the people. All right. So, trust me. My family, I love you. My biker family, I love you. All my OGs, y'all know how I feel about you, right? And I'm out of here. Y'all hit me up. Let me know your comments. Let me know what you like, didn't like, and this, that, and the other. I'm not gonna get butthurt over it and shit like that.
Yeah,
and have to
thin
pull, these panty motherfuckers kill me right now. I'm gonna stop. Stop.
No,
No. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
Sips tea.
I'm stop. Right.
We're not steel toeing anymore.
Right. No
more to the balls?
No, I'm not kicking nobody in the balls.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna just relax.
Red already did.
Right. Well, we'll get them on
Wow,
the
I'm
next.
just, Hey, if y'all got something I said that you didn't like,
You got butthurt
please,
over it.
don't take. Well, you can take it personal. I really don't care. But the reality is, if you do have something I said that I didn't like, hit the spoiler up because this is his podcast.
Well-
He's giving me the liberty to say it. Don't hit my inbox because I might unfriend your ass.
And true enough, now, as mature men in the modern time, there's nothing that we can't settle over a nice beer.
Or a nice bottle of Jack
Right.
Daniels.
And we can agree
Amen.
to disagree, right? But it doesn't have to end up to all that bullshit,
That extra shit.
right? Right? That's fuckboy shit.
Yeah.
We should be over that fuckboy shit. And at that point, I'm gonna leave this thing here. I hope you guys and ladies got some information. And no, ladies, I didn't forget about how you feel about the thing. The next one, we may have a call in if we get our technology down here.
Yeah.
We're fighting technology here.
We got the best tech guy in business here. So,
Right. And so this is just the beginning. We'll have many more conversations like that. I plan to be the biker Oprah,
Oh boy.
right?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I can't wait for the next topic.
I can't either.
I tell everybody, I'm having fun. I'm a neophyte.
There you go.
I'm a neophyte in this, but
Right.
I'm enjoying the ride.
Right. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, Real Riders Ride. You'll see the link to the spoilers, midlife crisis there. We'll fix the audio on that. We got the video now. Now we'll fix the audio. And like I said, it's a work in progress. We're always a work in progress. But to quote my man, right? And I don't know if he came up with that quote, but he always said that. We're always so much more to be. And that was my man Prince. So with that one, I'm gonna leave y'all that. Real Riders Ride, the sports midlife crisis. This is Red, that's Batman, Scorpion on the board, and we are out of here. Y'all have a good evening.
Have a good one.